So, welcome to District 4, to the point with information and news. I am your host, A-Love. We are going to be talking domestic violence today, and we're going to be talking just the different versions of it, the evolution of it, how it has changed, little pieces of it that we don't notice, and just how to remove yourself out of the situation, even in the most dire. So, if you stay at the end of the video, I'll tell you more in depth on how to remove yourself safely. But before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We do like to give information content, but we also do trials and we do financial literacy and all of these types of great things. Let's get into it so we don't take too long with it. A lot of these stats are going to come from the National Coalition of Domestic Violence. Some of them will come from the Bureau of Vital Statistics, which I generally take most of my data from. Let's start with just an understanding that domestic violence is not just women. It is recognized via women because they are the most in danger of losing their life as a result. Not to say that men don't, but it is more rare that they could accidentally kill you. It's more deliberate. A woman will have to go out of her way to take you because you can overpower her. That's why it is less recognized. But nonetheless, still happens. If you look at these statistics, you'll see how high their statistics for domestic violence is. So we'll say 1 in 7 women are physically abused every day. That is about 20 people per minute. 20 people per minute are being abused by their partners. This is partner. We're talking relationships now. We have physical abuse being 1 in 4 for women, but 1 in 7 for men. We talk about how 1 in 7 women are injured or hurt and have to go to the hospital, but 1 in 25 men are hurt and injured and probably don't go to the hospital. 1 in 7 women and 1 in 18 men are being abused on some level by their partner. Now, one thing you're going to notice is this: the statistics for males are higher, actually more. They used to be called feisty back in the day. You know, oh, she's a feisty woman, and she's out of there knocking you in your head every 5 minutes, every chance she gets. She's telling you you can't go places. She's telling you what to wear. She's telling you, physically abusing you if you look at another woman, touch another woman, hug another woman, have a relationship, more than even a high and by relationship. She tells you what to wear, where to go, and this is all abuse. This is not healthy. And this has become commonplace, especially in a lot of communities where you have what we say tough women, right? These women are tough. But it is abusive. And a lot of times, if she's verbal abuse tends to be the weapon of choice. This includes character assassination when she's angry or not angry. This includes what she says to you when she's angry. And there's the terrible misconception that it is not abuse if she gives it back to you. If you're abusing each other, you guys don't think you're in an abusive relationship. According to the domestic violence unit that is specifically does this all day, yes, you are abusive. You're just doing it to each other and not telling anybody. 50% of the violent crimes, so that's are commonplace between the ages of 18 to 24. When you're younger, 19% use a weapon. It's a pretty high percentage. And then 94% of women are stalked for one reason or another by a male with romantic interest. Look at the 94%. Now, some of you are like, well, yeah, I married my so-called stalker. You know, he called me and he got my number from a friend. Is that considered stalking? It's not. It's considered if it's unwanted. If he's showing up where you're at, and you're smiling at him and he's smiling at you. You guys are kind of like, eventually he'll come over and talk to me and ask me out. That's not it. It's the legit stalking. It's oftentimes, I'll give you a percentage, 20% are by people that aren't known. So let's just say you go out, you're with a group of friends, some guys, at a bar chilling, and you come in and he takes interest in you, but in an unhealthy way. You walk past to go to the restroom, you smile at him, you keep walking. He takes that as an unnatural sign, and he develops an unnatural attachment to you and starts stalking you. This is what this 20% is. This is a friend of a best friend. You just met him once. Hey, how you doing? Hi. And you go on to do what you normally do, and he gets your number out of her address book or phone. Starts stalking you. So it's sort of an acquaintance, but you don't know them. But they feel like they know you because they encountered you. These are really what I call encounter stalking. It means they don't know you, but they encountered you somewhere. You're at the library or something. You're at the grocery store, and you go to the same grocery store. When this person sees you, and you might, be on your way to check out, and they come out in behind you, you look over, you say, oh, hi, how's it going? And you turn around like you would anybody else, just being friendly. And then it commences to be a stalking situation. So that's 20%. That's a large percentage of people that you just kind of walk by. Hi, being friendly. You might be in a conversation with the checkout lady, and they jump in the conversation, and they think they know you. There's also heavy statistical data for people that have been together longer. Now, I'm going to break down just a little bit, and I don't want to go too long on this video before I get to how do you get yourself out of the situation. There are different versions of abuse. So let's say some person's on a substance. They drink or they're smoking. They're drinking or doing drugs. And they abuse you only when they're on that. So if you look back at research, the reality of the situation is they're not abusing you because they're drinking or doing drugs. They're doing drugs and drinking to be able to get away with the behavior. So I just learned this when I was watching a sort of after school special type thing that tells you insider information on how these things happen. Sort of like they call them instructional videos, like information videos, where the reality of the situation is it's you're saying, oh, he just only hits me when he's drinking, or he only hits me when, he does, crystal meth or whatever the drug is of choice. Not promoting any of these, so don't. I'm only using these as examples. Some sort of substance. And the reality is that's not true. The truth is that they're getting the excuse to do these bad behaviors. Another version of abuse is a stressed out person. So let's say you're married, and every time, and you say to yourself, your excuse is, well, he's having a hard time at work, or he just lost his job, or, the kids are, always on him, or he's in a situation where we've got adopted kids, or, you're just going on with some scenarios. It is abuse, and it is happening because they don't handle stress, and they're using you as a punching bag to relieve the stress. So you can say almost anything in a situation like this and pretty much get smacked. If he's stressed out, he or she, it happens with women, comes home, you're cooking, and you had hamburgers, but on the phone you said you were going to have Chinese food. You're getting smacked. It's going to turn into a domestic violence situation, not because you're triggering it, not because you're doing anything, but because this person has not learned any other coping mechanism on how to handle stress. And they're taking it out on the person that loves them the most, right? And then the final version is the sort of buildup. So let's say for 3 days you've been getting verbally abused about nothing, right? What are you wearing? Why are you talking to this guy? What? I'm so tired of you. Whatever violent verbal abuse they can give you, right? And you're soothing. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to do this. So the truth is, in the back of their minds, they sort of already know it's coming. You just say one more thing, you just do one more thing. Then they get to have that release. But they're not going to do it right away because maybe you're soothing it. But day 4, you're getting smacked. It doesn't matter what it is. And I say it harshly. I could say this in such a much nicer way. But I don't want to say it nicely because I want you to know that that's what's real. That's what's happening to you. You blame yourself and they will help blame you because they can't keep doing it if they say it's their fault, right? If I say, I'm a woman and I say, I don't want you to look at other women because I'm completely insecure and I feel like, you might like them better than what I have to give. So every time you look at another woman, I'm going to yell at you and smack you in the back of the head. If I say that, I have to get help, right? Because that's not your problem. It's my problem. So no one's going to say that. Now, an abusive person's never going to say it unless they get help. So that's the different versions that comes out. This is how you're able to give an excuse, and this is how they're able to blame you because of the method. Oh, I was drinking. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And you're like, oh my God, why don't you just stop drinking? And you're hoping that that's going to solve the problem. It isn't, because that's not why he's doing it. He's doing it. He's drinking to hit you, to abuse you, to get that out, to get that release. So chances are, realistically speaking, he would do it anyway. But he just doesn't have the courage to say he's a beater. So he uses that as a vehicle. The truth of the matter is, if they can't take stress, you're going to get hurt. And it's going to be close to you because guess what? It's kept in the house. Or you're not going to get smacked back. I mean, go ahead and try to hit your boss and see what happens. Take it out on the person that actually said it. You're mad and stressed out at work. Go on your boss's office and just lay him, rip into him. You're going to get kicked out, and if you don't get hurt, fired, and you have a lot to lose. But you don't have a lot to lose if you're abusing your family at home, because more than likely they're going to stick with you. Your job is not. Your job, as a matter of fact, just a one-way ticket to getting the heck out of there. So, and then the final is the build-up. It's because you have created an environment where it's okay. Not the victim, the abuser. Maybe they have abusive family, and that's just what they know, right? Like mama acted up, bam, she got smacked. That's just how you keep her in line. What do you mean? How's she going to keep? I literally have met men that go, how else are you going to keep a woman in line? My jaw dropped. Because for a brief second, I couldn't believe they actually meant it, but I knew that they did. All right, let's talk solutions, because I don't like to put people in situations and then not tell you how to get out of it, right? So this is coming firsthand because I have actually worked in these. I have not myself been in an abusive relationship, but I have definitely saw women come out the other side, where they come shoeless, hair all over the place in a robe type scenario. I made that part up, but that type of scenario, needing help. And how did they get there? What do you plan on doing afterwards? Where they're just in this sort of desperate state. So that's how I'm going to start this. I'm going to start this by, let's pretend you are that woman. I love to use this story, and I used it in the last one, so I'm going to use another one similar. You're on SmackDown mode. I'm using the word SmackDown because it hits you in the head, right? You're getting smacked up because that's basically what's happening. He was drinking or he wasn't. Okay, he was stressed out or he wasn't. It was build up from the last 4 days of him just putting you through verbal abuse. She too. I'll get to men in a minute. So, and you're like on year 7. Or you're on year 5. You've been with this guy a minute, forgiving him. And all of a sudden it snaps in your head, which is usually how it works. Bam! I need to get the heck out of here. And you just hit the door. He's chasing behind you. And you just, for that moment, that second, that minute, you just want to be gone. Okay. So where are you at when you're like that? You're desperate, right? You don't have time to think because you're just going to do the most immediate. If you have family, you're going to go. But let's pretend you don't. Let's pretend your family lives somewhere else or he's already isolated you, because that's part of it, right? You're isolated. You're desperate. You can't think clearly because you're just trying to get out of it. And this fool is behind you, chasing you. Either he got in the car or he got out of the... Okay, so I want to put this part on tape because I want people to be able to look at it multiple times. Okay, so there's a couple of things in this situation you do. And the first thing you're going to do is you're not going to go to your family's house. If you've been with this guy 5 years, they know he's putting a hammer to you. They either know it and not saying anything, or you've been over there multiple times. It is the first place they are going to look. So that may be your last day at your parents' house, because the minute you leave, he might be on level 25 because you've been with him a long time, right? You don't. You go to the police station. And you're like, well, what if I don't know where it is? What if I ran and now I'm lost? Well, you get to a phone. And I don't mean your parents' phone. I mean you get to some place you can call. You say, I don't have my cell phone with me. Okay, get to a phone. It's the middle of the night. Keep walking. A police officer will stop you. But sooner or later, you need to get there. Now, I broke this down in the first bit, but I'm going to go a little more detail. Do not go in there and tell them to arrest that guy, because legally they may not have a reason to. So you may leave there back with the guy because you have nowhere to go, or you go to your family's house for about 4 or 5 days, and you know what's going to happen? It's going to settle in. Your thought process is going to come back because you're going to get out of emergency mode. And that is when you're vulnerable. That's when he comes back after he finds you 2 or 3 days later. After your mother said, get out of here. And she okay, come on over, or dad scared him off. And then he comes to talk to you. You are not strong enough. You are not ready. Because what will ultimately end up happening, you may stay gone a few more days. He'll break you down. You're back with him. And that's almost always the scenario. And that time may be the last time. So what do? You go to the police station and you say, I am getting beat. I need a shelter. And the shelter will hide you. The shelter will hide you. That's their job. They will also, and this is for somebody that has not a dime. You left without your wallet, your phone, you were in shoes and a torn t-shirt. Maybe some shorts on. That's that desperate. He kicked you out of the car and you are walking in an area you don't even know where you are. You're on some sort of shady road. The first sign of light, that gas station, you say, I need to find a shelter, a police officer. And they will find that for you because that's where they live. You need a local. And the safest place to go is, realistically speaking, if you are near a restaurant, hospital, urgent care centers, you're like, but I don't want to get him in trouble. That's not what you're asking for. You're just going to ask for a shelter. That's it. They might treat you while they're there, and you're probably not going to tell them anything, and that shelter lady is going to come get you, and she's going to hide you. Okay, so that's emergency. Now, let's say you have a few more bucks to your name, right? Let's say you ran out of the house, and you have your purse, or you jumped in the car and you drove off. Do not go to your parents' house. Do not go to your family's house. Do not go to friends, or anywhere he can find you, because you cannot think. You are not going to be thinking clearly. So what you do is you get yourself a couple ducats and you get a hotel room. Because you need to think. You need to think without your parents' input. You need to think without his input. You need to sleep because you're probably not resting and probably haven't rested since you've been with him, realistically speaking. There are women that get out of those situations that sleep for days in a row. That's how much stress they've been under with this guy. Okay? But you get yourself a hotel room, and realistically speaking, before my battery dies, what you want to do is plan for that. So when that moment comes that you've had enough, it's going to click in your head out of nowhere. And you're going to just hit the pavement running. That you have on you, stashed somewhere. We had one woman who hid her ATM card for a private account that she was taking money from him because she wasn't working because he didn't let her, buried outside in the backyard. There's another woman that kept an ATM card frozen in her mother's refrigerator, so that even if he did find it, he can't thaw it out. His parents will have enough time to get him out of the house. So you get that, and you don't go anywhere but somewhere secluded by yourself, somewhere where you can think. Now, there's counselors at a center. That's why I said go there, because you're not going to be thinking, because you've been 5-7 years in survivor mode. This is what gets women in trouble. This is what makes women go back to the same guy. It's not necessarily they want to be with him so badly. It's because they realize they have no money. They have no family. They don't want to, they haven't told anybody, so it will be the first time and they'll be embarrassed. All of these things go through your mind that aren't real thoughts, but they're real thoughts when you're in desperation. So, and he can't find you still, because you can say to the hotel, listen, if someone comes by here and I am an abused woman, please do not tell him where I am. And I guarantee you they'll step in and make sure he doesn't know. Okay, so here's another thing. Somebody asked me, and I'll share this, what would they do if they were in the hotel like a certain celebrity and his girlfriend? We're not going to say his name. And he ran right after her immediately. Do not go to the elevator. It takes too long. He will catch you. It is why he makes note of where all the elevators are. You want to make note of where the stairwell in the opposite direction of your hotel room is, because when he runs after you, he doesn't care if he's butt naked at the time. He's going to run right to the elevator. But you're going to be behind him running down the stairwell. If you even get to choose the room that's closest to the stairwell exit. Behind you, not in front of you, because he's going to look there second. He's going to run to realize you're not there. He's going to look for the stairwell in the direction he's running and run there. You're going backwards. If you're super smart and you know you want to leave, you get a hotel room in the opposite direction when he's not with you or before you get there. And you run out the room. He's jumping out the shower. He's going to run towards the elevator. You're going to run in the opposite direction, get your key, get in that room and lock it. So a part of this is just understanding you're not going to be thinking straight. So you have to have sort of an idea of what to do. You're just not going to think clearly. It's not even possible if you've been beaten for 7, 5, 6 years. It's going to take you equally as much time to really get whole again. So, and that's okay. This is another thing. It's okay to tell people what's happening. People are smart. I'm with this guy. He's going to beat me as soon as I get in that room. Can I please do the Tina Turner? Tina Turner ran to another hotel. It snapped because it's going to hit you fast. Hit her out of nowhere with Ike. She goes running to another. She told the guy, listen, I have no money, but please, he's going to fight. And the guy hit her. He hid her because they understand. So there are some tips. If you're in that situation now, don't wait for it to snap. If you're in that situation where you don't work, you have no money, every time he gives you an allowance, get your hair done, do something that he thinks is going to benefit him, put some of it away. Now, not where he's going to notice, obviously. Start opening credit cards in your own name and having them sent somewhere else, to your job, for example, if you work. If you don't work, to a trusted friend. Get that hotel room in advance. You know what I'm saying? Keep that money on the side because there's going to hit you out of nowhere. I promise you. It has never been an incident that I've ever experienced where these women come that they haven't just snapped out of nowhere. Something random in their traditional life makes them just not want to be there anymore. And that's when he's going to come after you. All right, thank you so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Look at this a couple times. There's a few jewels in there, and hopefully, we'll pay attention. Really briefly on the men, you are abused. If you're getting smacked up, if you're getting told what to wear, what to do, if she's, pushing on you, she's not feisty. She's abusive, and it doesn't get better. Okay? Don't go by what she looks like, because that's probably what a lot of you are doing. Go by who she will be if she gained 100 pounds and, had rollers in her hair. You got to look at her differently so you can see somebody different in her and look at her, the content of her character. Okay? If she's hitting you, you shouldn't be with her. Just point blank. All right, that's none of my business, but there you go. Men are less likely to admit it, but that's what it is. It's you're in an abusive relationship. All right? Thank you so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. As I said earlier, I'm going to get off of here. Thanks.